We should be live. I think it takes a minute for Facebook and YouTube to catch up. So, anybody who's watching the VOD, again, we thank you for taking the time for tuning in even after the live broadcast. Anyone who's coming in on the live stream, thanks for tuning in as well. Not the night I expected, Dad, at all.
Certainly not.
To be totally honest, I was not the most optimistic about the Celtics game. I'm sorry, the Bruins game. And of course, it kind of got flipped on its head for us. So you weren't here earlier. We had my buddy step in. We got to change your name as well. Steve Viner. It's throwing people off. We're getting texts about it. Cousin Juliet's already texting Elizabeth saying it's throwing off the aesthetic. He's got to change his name to the old bull. So what does Steve Viner have to say about let's start off with the what do you want to do? The good or the bad?
Listen, I want to start off with the team that deserves our attention. Let's start off with the Bruins.
Yes. All right. Thoughts on the Bruins?
If you told me coming into the night that one of our Boston teams is going to win, the other is going to lose, there was no way I would have picked this scenario. But here we are. Bruins, gutsy win. Man, they don't make it easy. That's for sure. But once again, Swayman was an absolute stud, standing on his head. The defense was much, much better. Good job bringing the two kids in. Man, Pete comes back.
Right.
Hopefully he does. That'll be because our defense just looked better. Toronto had some chances, but the second chance rebounds weren't there. We got the puck out of our zone better. There wasn't a lot of turnovers where I was like, oh my God. Like there was still a few. There's always going to be a few. And I tell you, boy, did Marchand redeem himself, because up until that goal that put him ahead, I was ready to rip him. He looked like he had been playing drunk. It's like, what is he doing out there? He just couldn't keep the puck on his stick. He couldn't stay on his skates. And man, all of a sudden it was like someone hit him with a shot of adrenaline in the heart. He just was like young Marchand, and he took that game over. It was great to see.
Yep, 3 points in the win tonight. That was absolutely ginormous. He tied Cam Neely for the record for the Bruins playoff goals. So that's the Marchand we need. And, I was talking to Jackson today. I put his Marchand jersey on, and he's like, is Marchand doing good? I'm like, he's doing okay, but he's got to step up. And Marchand must have heard me from Joe Schwartz, Little League field, because he certainly did step up. And, it's been the tale of, Jekyll and Hyde with Jake DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk really popped off the screen in this game. I'm pretty sure he led the team in hits. He looked like one of the most finesse players out there. I was super excited about Jake DeBrusk. That power play goal was major. Making heady, big time plays. There was actually one point where he got the puck out of the zone. I think it was a power play or something. He's just throwing his body around. One of the things we knocked on him last game was he didn't get his stick down. His puck went under his stick, and then they got that one-timer for the goal. He was not going to be denied this game and getting pucks out of our zone. And that amount of heart is what you need against this Leafs team, because they're like, if you can get them on the back foot even a little bit, get them in their zone, the breakdowns just happen. They're not a good defensive team. So keeping their zone time limited, I know it's easier said than done, especially with such a high-powered offense, is so big. And the best way to keep people out of your zone is by having heart and willing to get it out. I mean, it's just being gritty. So big ups to Jake DeBrusk too. Any comments on Jake DeBrusk before I mentioned somebody else?
That's Jake in a nutshell. One game, you're like, wow, he looks like a top 20 forward in the entire league. The next game, you're like, he played? Like, what happened? So, man, hopefully he can bottle that and do it every single game this playoffs. I love what I saw. Now, listen, I called out Geeky and Frederick last game, and, man, again, they were all over the place. Love seeing that. They were flying all night. When you're young and you're fighting for a roster spot in the playoffs, you have to be flying at all times, and they both were, especially Geeky. He was real noticeable out there. And, guys, when I say these guys, I didn't notice them, I don't just look for goals, shots on net. I look for the little plays, the little fights in the corner, the little fights in front of the net. I keep a tally of them in my head. That was not a good play there. That was a great play. It's always the little subtle things in hockey that wins games. It's the little tiny battles where you won it, so you carry the puck out, and if you didn't win it, they would have gained possession, did a few passes, and scored a goal.
Yep.
it's like a paradox with hockey. You just never know. It's the little tiny battles that can change the whole complex of the game. And those two were much better out there. I was happy to see that.
Yeah,
They
and you
play like that
mentioned,
all the
right?
time.
You mentioned, of course, the biggest play for that, that duo or especially Frederick was the goal. The second biggest play was we had over a minute of zone time late in the third period up against the Leafs. We have no business. We should be that the classic Bruins play is to be in prevent. Frederick, all those guys, they were keeping the puck alive. And that's, again, things you notice. Those guys popped off the screen. I was like, who is playing prevent right now? Because it really seemed like the Leafs were the team that were trying to defend a lead there, because we were pressuring. We were winning every puck battle. It was awesome. It was very
it was fantastic. They kept the puck in the zone for almost 2 minutes. Toronto needed the goal, and they couldn't get out of their zone. That was Geeky and Frederick. It was like 7 minutes. Magic.
Yeah, there was like 7 minutes left, and 2 of those minutes was that section. So absolutely massive and really big. Now, the other player that you mentioned you were going to jump on Marchand. McAvoy was so close to having another disastrous game.
Yes.
Oh, man. And, they talked about how he had a monster night after the Tavares. Tavares grabbed him and pulled him down.
I don't know what they were talking about there.
Yeah. No, I think if anything, McAvoy let his emotions get to him. That forearm shiver to the face is just so dopey. He had a few different plays where, he was pirouetting and falling on the ice. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you see those you see those moments and you just imagine, oh, here we go. They're going to pass the puck 3 times, going to be in the back of the net. Luckily it didn't happen, but he didn't pop off the screen as one of our best defensemen. And of course, any thoughts on McAvoy, Dad, before I move?
He had, again, like last game, he had 2 really bad turnovers. One came right after we just killed a penalty, and it just gave I forgot who it was for, but it gave someone on Toronto a golden opportunity, and Swayman bailed them out. That's been what's going on all year. So we got to tighten that up in front of that. We got to give our goalies a damn break. They've been carrying our defense all year, saving them from vital mistakes. The mistakes were a little less tonight, and it's let me tell you, it's not a coincidence that Grzelcyk was not in the lineup. Thank you, Montgomery. Good move there. Finally sitting him. That man is not built for the playoffs. He's barely built for the regular season. Keep him on the damn sideline. I don't want to see any more Grzelcyk unless we're decimated with injuries. So good move by Montgomery there. Love that. Giving the kid Lowry a chance. He didn't he presented himself great with Witherspoon. He was solid out there too. I like it. Give these kids a chance. Do not let Grzelcyk back. Sit one of them when Pete comes back, hopefully. And I like what I'm seeing.
All right, we've heard enough from the old bull and the young calf. Let's hear from our listeners, and we've got a lot of great insight. So we got, first off, Drew Gordfish coming in hot with just some comments. We appreciate it. No questions, just nothing but hype, Drew, and that's what we need. We need excitement for the Big Bees win. So Maz, knock it off. I don't know which one you're calling Maz, because I think we could both pass as a Maz. We both got the nose for it. But yeah, we'll talk about the Celtics in a second, Drew. Don't ruin the high here, okay? And then,
did I hear you call him Gourdfish? That is amazing. That's your new nickname, Drew. I'm sorry, Gourdfish.
Gordish.
That is fantastic. Oh,
right,
burned by my son. Burned by my son, Drew. Sorry.
And then on YouTube, my buddy Andrew, who stood in for the old bull earlier today, he talked about how the third line switch up was super important. The forecheck, the effort. Boquist, his helmet came off. Actually, I think I recall it in one of the things, hustling over there. So big shout out to Boquist. And he talks about Matt needs a solid line mate. Needs a solid line mate. While Lowry was good on offense, he's a liability. I mean, that cross check to start the game was so dopey on Bertuzzi. I don't know what he's doing. He said we need Peak and Witherspoon. But I mean, we'll see about Peak, man. We can't make miracles happen. So, and the other one is Elliot Schnickler. I'm not going to say your friend's names anymore. I'm worried now.
I think he's talking about the Celtics. I don't think he's talking about the Bruins.
Correct.
Because Gourdfish made a comment about the Celtics. So I think he's Elliot.
Right
now we're focusing on the Bruins. So, and let me just tell you, I like that Boquist kid. I like him. but I'm going to say something here that's probably not going to be popular. I'm sorry. When's Brazeau due to come back? Because you know what? I've seen enough of Pat Maroon. Man, is he? Listen, I know he's a gritty old veteran, and he came out of the chute in game one like a cannon. He was awesome, but oh my God, does he look like a liability out there? He just looks 2 speeds slower than everybody else. Save that dude. Keep him on the side. Please, let's get Brazeau back in there. The guy who's just as big as him. And yeah, he definitely earned it the way he played in the regular season. He's definitely faster than Maroon. I love you, Maroon. Not saying he won't have a part in this postseason at some point, but man, in this series where Toronto has wheels and they're offensive, he looks like a liability waiting to happen out there. He's so slow. He's just so slow.
No, I totally agree. And it's one of those things where it's like Al Horford, right? You want to keep the legs on those older guys. There's no reason to put, Maroon out there when you have the depth sitting right in front of you. But yeah, no, overall that was great. Matthews was pretty much invisible. I will say that. Like usual, when you don't let him behind you, McAvoy, that kind of what happens in the playoffs. Tavares with the choke. And then, my buddy Andrew, we're a very PC channel, but he said, they call him Fat Pap for a reason. We're not getting canceled. We're not getting canceled over here. That was not me. That was a quote. That was a quote. That was Andrew Bailey, the baby bear, as he calls himself.
And let me tell you, I love when I am wrong. Carlo, proving the old bull wrong
over and over again.
At this point. I love it. Keep doing it. This is by far the best postseason I've ever seen Carlo perform in so far. He's not choking the puck away like a scared dog. Like, he's been great. Please keep it up because he is a big, strong body, and we need that. Keep proving the old bull wrong. Thank you, Carlo.
Yeah, and I mean, Andrew, my buddy Andrew's been tooting that horn for a while. He's seen potential in Carlo. Even the old bull's waiting to turn on him. You see, I like how you're measuring all your words so far. Keep doing that because you're just waiting to just bring the axe down. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Carlo did step up. He's taken a lot of big shots from the blue line, and that's what we need against Samsonov. He leaves a lot of net open on the sides of himself. So, keep those up. Try and don't aim for center mass and just see what we could do. I mean, this game, it as much as it was close for a while, that third period, man, we had so many close chances. I think we hit the post at least twice, and it was like, man, so close. I'm really hoping we can take this energy into the next game, beating them on their ice with so many power plays for them. They were I don't even know, what were the penalty minutes combined? Oh, it was 10-6. It was 10-6, and I mean, and that's counting the 2 minutes for the delay a game at the beginning and the 2 minutes at the very end of the game with McAvoy. So, end to end in the meat of the game, we only had 2 minutes of power play time against this team, and we capitalized. So, again, staying out of the box is super important against this team, and drawing penalties is super important because they can't stop a nosebleed on that power play penalty kill.
Yeah.
All
right. What's great job, Bruins. Yeah. Let's move on to the brutal part of the night. The Celtics. I want to light them up. I want to light them up so bad. But when you have something as ridiculous as a disgusting fluke of a bunch of scrubs shooting 53.5% from three-point land. That is so flukish. That is so ridiculous. It's so disgusting. I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, everything Miami threw up from three went in. It's just nobody shoots 53% from the three-point line when they take 40 shots. And somehow they did. I mean, if I'm going to be mad at anything, Missoula for not making some type of adjustment where we just got in their faces more on three-pointers. And if we gave up some layups, we gave up some layups. Like, I don't know what the hell that is. It's such a joke. But,
I mean, their starting lineup shot 61%. The only person bringing that down is the right guy and Robinson. If you include Highsmith in the starting lineup, they shot like 62% from three.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, like Duncan Robinson was the only reason that wasn't a historic 3-point shooting night, because he was throwing bricks up. So I don't know. The Heat are playing with a blank check, and they just can walk down the court, take pull up threes. They're NBA players. They should hit pull up threes. There's no reason why they shouldn't. And what's the worst that's going to happen? They're just going to lose this series that everybody thinks they're going to lose, and it sucks. And I think, which broadcast did you watch, Dad? NBC Sports or the ESPN?
ESPN.
So I watched NBC, and Scal and Mike were going on and on about the amount of matchup hunting that was happening on the end of the what's it called, on the Celtics was just embarrassing. There was no ball movement. Drive, kick. Where's the drive kick game? It was super frustrating. We just kept going into the paint. The refs aren't calling anything. I don't know what memo we need to send to Joe Mazzulla, but fouls are not happening, right? So going to the paint, 3-4 Heat crash in on you. You got to kick it out. I don't know why we're late to the party here. And, this is one of the, slow innovations that I hope don't come back to bite us. Because, I mean, at this point, it already did bite us. We're already playing one more game than we needed to play against a garbage team. So,
absolutely. Eric Krog chiming in here, one of our loyal listeners. Yep. Too many threes wide open. I mean, it felt like Miami didn't shoot a contested three. Everyone they shot up was just wide open, just like you said. And it's just, and they're still not supposed to make that many. I don't care if they're wide open. They're the Miami Heat. They're a garbage team, especially shooting from three. It's just a complete fluke. It's trash. Porzingis was absolutely awful. He played his worst game as a Celtic. I mean, let's call it like it is. Not a great time. Porzingis was absolutely awful. Hopefully he's embarrassed by that and he bounces back. I mean, and I can't believe our two stars had a good game. Jaylen Brown was awesome, and we lose to this scrub team. I mean,
we stopped going to him. We stopped going to him.
Yeah,
Jaylen Brown had like 28 to start like the third quarter, and for some reason we just stopped going to him. And Eric, thanks for chiming in, man. Any other thoughts you have, Eric? We appreciate all your listening. My buddy Andrew said Caleb Martin has a vendetta against the Celtics. I mean, this guy is a player that you should be able to leave open on the perimeter, and for some reason, that's what we were able to do last game. He didn't hit a single three.
5 for 6. 5 for 6 from three.
84% from three tonight.
That loser has sucked all year round. I mean, can someone make it their personal mission to stop him? And just, God, it's just painful.
The worst part about playing this team is the moving screens. And the fact that they do it so often that the refs just don't call it. Bam Adebayo every time is shifting. And you have to see the Celtics. They have to loop around extra wide. And then, he was doing it so much, the Celtics were taking such a wide path that he would then not even do his shift. He would just cut in and he'd get the ball, within 10 feet. And I don't know why we can't get Porzingis the ball in that same zone. Why is it that Bam Adebayo gets in the restricted area with the ball in his hands above his head? Almost, he had it happen to him like 4 or 5 times in the fourth quarter alone, but we can't get that once for Porzingis. And Porzingis missed a bunch of bunnies right over Tyler Hero. Scal was saying that game just felt weird. It was a weird game. We missed a lot of free throws. Brown missed 2, Tatum missed 2. Derek White didn't get remotely as much love. Derek White didn't get any love. He was the only one making shots, and it was weird. It was a very weird game.
Out of our non-stars, he was, and God, what was I gonna say?
I mean, there's so much to say.
What I was gonna say.
I mean, so real quick, Hauser again, 2 for 4 from 3, +8, no turnovers. He had a block. He had some great defense, and for some reason, he only played 15 minutes tonight. I don't know.
I know what I want to say. The screens you're talking about, the moving screens, they're constant. The Celtics need to start just blowing through the guy. Like, stop trying to go around their illegal screens and just start hitting them like a football player. Because at some point they have to start calling those. And if they're going to move and we're going to avoid the body contact, they're not going to call it. So start plowing through them. Absolutely through them. Grow some balls, and they want to set an illegal screen and move into you. Run him over like a truck. This stuff is so annoying. We have to go an extra game with these clowns. It's disgusting. I can't even stand it.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Holiday did try that in the fourth quarter. He tried to go through the screen, and Bam just kept walking backwards the entire time. No, and Drew Holiday ended up getting a foul call on him. Derek Peck, Derek, thanks for tuning in. He said, "What we played terrible. Don't get too upset. Minus Denver, we are the team to beat." Derek, I completely agree, man. But we got to start playing like it, Derek. I'm just whenever we get in the game with the Heat, it just feels different. Some reason,
Derek, you're absolutely
we turn to a pumpkin.
right. But the problem is, we've been in this position before where we extend these series too long. They go too long, and we're out of gas by the time the Eastern Conference Finals comes or the championship comes. We have to start finishing these bum teams off in 4 to 5 games. There's no way this series should have went past 4 games. It should have been 3 blowouts. Started sitting in the fourth quarter in 3 of them, and you're done with these bums in 4 games. Tonight was a fluke, but you have to adjust. When they're hitting every single 3-pointer they're shooting, you have to make some type of an adjustment. Let's see. Yeah. Watch. I guarantee you when we go back to Miami, they're going to shoot like probably 25% from 3. Miami. You watch. I mean, it's disgusting, but Missoula's going to be better.
Here's the scary part. The Cavs play tomorrow, and then they play on the 27th. They play on Saturday. We don't play until Saturday. So that means the Cavs series might be over on Saturday, and then they're going to be able to rest because we play Saturday, then we don't play until Monday, and then we don't play until the 1st, so Wednesday. So the Cavs series might end, and for all intents and purposes, it should end because the Magic just don't have it. And they could rest 4 games before we even finish. So it's a really big loss. I don't know why the games are spaced out like this. I don't know why we're getting 2 games, 2 days between every single game for an NBA. But yeah, I mean,
it's weird.
It's really weird. Yeah.
Hopefully they're embarrassed. Hopefully the Celtics should be embarrassed. Hopefully Missoula has, some type of game plan that makes sense that stops their wide open 3-pointers, at least make the threes a little contested and, wipe the floor with these guys in front of their crappy crowd that shows up an hour late. So, God, this is infuriating. They ruined what would have been an amazing night. Thank God for the Bruins. Thank God the Bruins showed up. Oh, Celtics. Absolutely killing me. That's such a bizarre game. Tatum and Brown played well, and we still lose. I just don't. I mean, Porzingis was bad, but it's just, what are you going to do? 53% from 3 from these bombs.
Well, we do appreciate. Listen, we're 20-something minutes in. We do appreciate everybody who showed up to the viewing, and we got like almost our most viewers ever, 7 people watching. We really appreciate that, everybody, and we appreciate talking back and forth with you. This is an exciting time for us, even though it does feel like a kick in the stomach of every so often. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and feel free, keep commenting. We're gonna answer your talk about your comments before we talk about anything, because we're not too interesting, and for the most part we just repeat ourselves. So we like to hear what you guys have to say. But yeah, Dad, any other final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, that's it. Let's we get the draft. We get the draft tomorrow. We are going to be live tomorrow before probably about half hour, 15 minutes before the draft starts, and going all the way to the Patriots' 3rd pick. So I'm going to be putting, my little posts out there at Facebook to remind people, tune in tomorrow. We want your input. What are they going to do tomorrow? What are the Patriots going to do for the draft tomorrow? So tune in for that.
Watch the draft with us. Watch the draft with us, and you can possibly see a complete meltdown on my dad. So
oh God.
I need all you Florida people. I need somebody to have 911 on just ready for a wellness check because his camera might go black. We'll see. So yeah,
someone cut my internet if they trade that pick or take J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy,
oh my God,
now a Patriot. Yeah, oh no,
just absolutely somebody put me out of my misery.
So yeah, we appreciate everybody. I think we're up to actually 9 people. 9 people total watching.
One time we had double digits. We had double digits at one time watching. So I'll take it.
Yeah. All right, you guys
Big
are the
shot
best. Thank you. We'll see
podcast
you
is
tomorrow if you want to watch some Patriots draft with us. And if not, the next game I think is for the Bruins. When is that, Dad? Any idea?
They're both Saturday. We got
Both Saturday.
the
All
Celtics
right.
starting early and the Bruins playing late. So we're gonna try to cram those pre games in there and post game. So we'll try to find a way.
Bye bye. See you, everybody.